Alrighty, fellas. Good morning. Good morning. How are we doing today? Welcome back to our PokeMMO stream recap. I believe this is number 349, your daily source of tips, tricks, news, and information regarding PokeMMO and seeing what the community is discussing. We have a lot to talk about today and some serious topics that I want to take some caution for and some appreciation for. Some out of my depth where I'll just be quoting the developers. We have, I think, 2 points, 2 massive points of developer communication today. So stick with me. We're going to go through the upcoming events first, but we have some big, there's a little spoiler. We have some big stuff coming up, okay? We don't get a whole lot of developer communication, so when we do, we appreciate it. First things first, the official PokeMMO Shiny Wars, the second annual ever Shiny Wars, is still coming up. Make sure, please, go organize your team now. You're running out of time, guys. You only have until, I think, July 2nd. July 2nd is when registration begins, and it will fill up within a sec. Don't think you can like show up to this event 10 minutes late and still get a spot. No. This is first come, first serve. You need 29 other people, at least 24, but please go for a full team, and you need to sign up and get your slot. This is something that will fill up extremely quickly. Like, you need to have your shit pre-typed and be ready to send it as soon as the thing goes live, because otherwise you can miss stuff like that. So, okay. Be ready for Shiny Wars. This is essentially the Super Bowl of Shiny hunting if you aren't familiar. Next up, we have a Mudkip catch event. This takes place today, so I'll be doing this on stream. If you're watching the stream recap, I'm sorry it's too late for you. It's at Route 104 in Hoenn. Mudkip, Pooch, Wurmple, no Shiny Mudkip prize, 6 times, which is understandable. We wouldn't want to give a rare Shiny like this for a prize. 6 times 31. I'll be playing this on the Iron Man today. Next up, upcoming catch events. Call Me Sensei's been hosting a ton to celebrate Safari Week, so big shout out to them. A lot of love, a lot of work that the staff go into to hosting all these events. There is a June 30th Safari Week catch event. It's actually June 29th if you're in my time zone, so keep that in mind. Some of these catch events are in different time zones. Try to get everybody involved. This is the Sinnoh Safari Zone catch event. There's actually 2 catch events in one day this Sunday. I think there's one at, this one's at 8 p.m. ET, and the other one is at, there's another one somewhere. I think it's Spoink at 12 p.m. So there's one at 12 p.m., one at 8 p.m. this Sunday if you're in the ET time zone. But Great Marsh Sinnoh, catching any Sinnoh Safari Pokemon with different species for a chance to win a shiny Bidoof, be there or be square. Next up, we have another Safari, a different Safari Week catch event, Johto. This one is on Saturday, the 28th of June. Sorry, excuse me, at noon. And then obviously all the Johto Safari Pokemon. And then a shiny Lapras is up for grabs, which is pretty crazy. So make sure, if you don't have Johto done, make sure to get the Safari Zone unlocked. This is a rare shiny being given away, which is very, very cool. Next up, we have a Gone Fishin'. I love the art for this one, the Politoed and the Poliwhirls and stuff. 6th of July, 11 a.m. ET. That is Sunday. Poliwhirls and Psyducks. No shiny, non-shiny Poliwhirl, weirdly, but you know what? They only have a limited amount of shinies they are allowed to give away, from my understanding. Next up, on the 29th of June, so there's like 28th, 29th, 30th. There's a lot of events coming up, guys. Just make sure to mark your calendars. 29th of June, 12 p.m., noon ET, Jagged Pass, Hoenn. Points and Sudowoodos. All the extra details, if you've never done a catch event before, you're not familiar, I have videos on catch events explained. I'm skipping a lot of the details. Yeah, shiny Lapras is a crazy prize. All these details can be found out on the PokeMMO forums. If you ever want to keep an eye out for when PokeMMO catch events are coming up, they're always announced on the PokeMMO official forums. However, my videos are also a nice way to get caught up to some extent and know the basics of it. So there's another one, the shiny Spoink prize, really, really beautiful shiny. All right, that's all the event stuff. That's the easy stuff. Let's get into the more serious stuff. Let's first do this. This is a suggestion box from Tallyhack. Particle Charm, RP, and event item. So he's suggesting this item to possibly be added to the game. Imagine a 1-hour charm that gives you either a guaranteed or a chance for a Pokemon with a particle effect. Each charm would be specific to a certain particle effect. For example, the flower particle effect. I love the idea of this. This is a cool way to introduce a new consumable item into PokeMMO. If you don't know, your Pokemon can have certain things called particles, and they're sort of like an extra little flare, an extra little, you know, visual effect. And they have, some of them have a lot of value, like the Hitodama one, the cheapest one being 1.7 mil, for example. Some are very expensive. Some have a lot of value, exclusive to old events. I think this is a really cool way. You wouldn't want to like add like a Hitodama 1-hour particle charm, because that would be ridiculous. You don't want to, you know, keep stuff, you want to keep stuff limited. You don't want to like reintroduce stuff like that. That would be bad in my opinion, but it's a cool idea. So Want to show that off. Next up, let's jump into the more serious stuff. Now, this is something I can't add a lot to. This is, once again, the PRNG stuff, the math stuff. Recently, I can try to recap it for those who don't know. There's been a concern, and it's nothing wrong with being concerned. There's been a concern that someone's player seed, like when they create their account, could decide their RNG for the rest of their account, right? And that shouldn't even be a problem for the most part, but then it's like, what if you could see your seed or know when RNG pops up? That would be a massive problem in an MMO format, right? Let's go ahead and talk about what happened. Tallyhack basically said, like, hey, could you give us quick confirmation and address this, essentially, address the concerns. And we do get a response from Desu, who very rarely speaks out. Desu, one of the head developers of PokeMMO. I'm just going to read what they say. I don't have the coding education or the math education to speak on this. I'm just going to read what they say and try to draw out the main points. For certain high value events like shininess, IVs, egg randomness, mystery box items, we use secure random, which is just a certain type of coding, right? Certain type of system for RNG. Instance with no seeding. This is the important part. No seeding. This means everyone shares the same high quality random source. It is confirmed there is no seeding. Your trainer, there's no PRNG luck. Your account is not locked. Your account is not unlucky. I understand this being a concern, but I think people took it a little too crazy, and it reminds me a lot of Shiny Lock. The same thing happened about a year ago when people were like, oh my god, we found out Shiny Lock is a thing. Am I Shiny Locked? And it's like, no, Shiny Lock is a measure used to lock very new accounts that run back and forth and make zero storyline progress. It's meant to counter bots. It's very, very unlikely that a real player would get hit by a Shiny Lock. The same way, like, this is just, I think people are really worried right now, and I understand there's a lot of fear in the world, and I think a lot of the fear is trickling into PokeMMO. When you're scared from one thing, you're scared about everything, and I get that. And all you can do is be empathetic and understanding, and that's the real, versus like telling people they're stupid for being scared, because it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. We're all scared. I get it. But it's important to logically check your fear to some extent and not always give in to the urge. It's okay to ask for affirmation. It's okay to be like, hey, devs, could you affirm this for us? I think it's okay. It's okay. So yeah, people yearn yeah, I think humans want a reason for why they're unlucky as opposed to just being unlucky. I've been 300,000 encounters dry on a shiny hunt. I've been super dry. I've gotten a shiny at 106 encounters. It just happens. Like, it just happens. If you've been around Pokemon long enough, you've seen people go tremendously dry. You have to just hope that RNG evens out over a long period of time. It just happens. It's just RNG. We'll talk more about that in a quick sec. Let's finish what Des has to say. For low value events like battle events, we do use thread local pseudo random number generators. I have no idea what this means. There are similar to random number generators you'd expect in a single player game, but these are shared between many players. Due to the way networking and scheduling work, it's unpredictable which thread will process a request, and therefore which of these randomnesses will be used. This ends up being very simple. An API that calls whenever random numbers are needed, something like RNG get 0 through 4. Okay. TLDR, there's no user-specific data involved in these pseudo-random number generators. This is the main thing people needed to know. There is no character ID thing. Right? It is just, there is no seeding. That's the main thing people were concerned about. Your account is not unlucky compared to someone else's. It's just RNG, man. You got to keep rolling the dice, okay? Next up. This is coming from an extremely impassioned player, is the nice way to say this. This guy has been posting a lot of forum posts, similar topics over and over and over again on the PokeMMO forums, and he is concerned, let's say, but I think his passion and his concern is wildly misguided, and we'll talk about why. He says, we need real anti-bot measures. Here's the evidence why. Now, my bias is to already be frustrated hearing this, because I always say, people don't realize how good we have it in PokeMMO when it comes to bots. Botting is not an issue in PokeMMO comparatively to other MMOs. It's still an issue, and it will always be an issue. Botting in MMOs will always be an issue. It's literally a problem since MMOs have existed, and nobody has been able to get rid of it, right? Let's read what he has to say, though. My journey, I submitted a report on botting patterns plus multiple bot sites. Staff focused on only one player. So he doesn't know this. Number one, you don't know this. Number two, you don't know that they were bots. He's making a bunch of assumptions already in the first thing, right? He's assuming that everyone he reported he knows for sure is a bot. And he's also assuming that they can actually take down bot sites. Do you think PokeMMO has the power to do that? Suggested reporting forums, thread locked in 3 days. We'll get to, that sounds very, rough. We'll get to why that happened. Provided proof, blah, blah, blah. Staff said it doesn't occur. And here he linked some evidence. Let's go ahead and read. Q responded, right? Q responded. Yes, you want to see bots? Come play Classic WoW. It frustrates me because as someone who's played a lot of MMOs, old school RuneScape, for 20,000 hours, I know how bad bots can be in a game, and I know how hard every game developer works to fight against them. You're never gonna win. Like, it's just a constant battle. This person, from when he's posted on the forums, he wants to see 0 bots exist in the game, and I don't know what. You can't do that. I don't know what to tell him. That's not possible. It's like saying you want to see a world with no stealing, no hunger, I'm sorry, we fuck up, we make mistakes. I would want that too, but it's not possible in reality. So let's see what Q says. We do not ban players based on user reports of suspected botting. Game masters take your report and treat it as a hint, which must be independently verified. This makes a lot of sense. You're not gonna just ban someone because someone said someone was botting. You're gonna have to look at it, right? In these cases, your report was not able to be confirmed, so no action was taken. A really important thing is the PokeMMO devs have stated over and over and over again, they do not ban players unless they are 100% sure they are botting. Not 75%, not 50%. It has to be beyond a reasonable doubt, similar to the court systems, right? It makes it more likely that less false bans happen, right? But mistakes will still happen, right? For this, you've already been responded to by the head of support in that thread. So this guy is someone who's already made a bunch of forum posts and has been responded to a bunch of time. The vast majority of these links you submitted to us are either scams, extremely old botting software which you already have profiles on, or generic tools for macro recording. We're not going to divulge details on which are which, but there was nothing new to me in this ticket posted. We constantly update our anti-cheat systems to handle new software as we go, and if you stick around long enough, you might see very funny posts complaining about how their safe bot got all their accounts banned. I know you think DMCing those updates will do something, but it won't, especially when they're not subject to US laws. We are not going to waste our time and legal resources trying to take down a Weebly site. Same as this website you CC'd me to via email. So like, this guy is spamming them on like every platform, trying to like make them get rid of bots. What frustrates, we have a constant problem in the world right now of arrogance and people thinking that they know how to do someone else's job better than them. And it's something that I try to constantly push in my content. You cannot show up to a restaurant, see a line, and be like, this line looks inefficient. I bet if they did this, this, and this, it would make it faster. Because in reality, there's probably some reason in the back end that you don't have the information for. You literally couldn't know, which is fair. But there's probably some reason why, right? It's really important to assume that people around you are intelligent, that people around you are acting in an efficient manner, that they are doing the right things. As soon as you start assuming that everyone's an NPC and dumb except for you, you enter a very dangerous path in your mind, and I feel like this is happening egregiously right here. Let's keep going. Good luck if you want after the people. I've never had any actual success saying, please stop it to a faceless Russian company. Yes, we all know that gold buying sites, and our GMs have been browsing every English and Chinese Scythe equivalent. If you don't know, Scythe is a very old school MMO, like gold trading website for the past 15 years. Yeah, PokeMMO has been on these sites. They keep an eye out. Like they know this isn't, they do these things. It's their job. They do this, right? It's really annoying when people are like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of bots in your game. But there's also not a lot of bots, and we'll get into that. At least in my opinion. That one's opinionated. I don't know. We don't have data. So my guess, based on what I've anecdotally see over 10 years or over, 12 years, is that I don't think bots are a very big problem in PokeMMO. That does not mean they're not a problem and shouldn't be addressed every, let the devs do their work. Sellers don't sit there and cry in public about how their listing got them banned. You don't see action here because we don't publicize operations, and a seller publicizing how they got banned is bad for their business. Yes, a gold seller, right? While your worry is appreciated, these are not your problems to solve. PMing me, I've escalated this to TPC because you're not doing enough, is just an annoyance and not something which is going to spur me to action. Yes, I agree that there are some tools which can be improved for user experience within the support and in-game. However, right now, our primary focus is on automated systems for reactionary approaches and hardening of the game client for preventative approaches, not increasing the amount of manually reviewed tickets from users who think they see rule breaking. I think this is the important thing. And I appreciate this communication. Like, I appreciate TLDR, you're just annoying. I think it's really important. Dude, I read through the forums every day to get stuff like this to show you guys. You have no idea how much annoyance post I skip through. I constantly say, I feel really bad for the devs because They have to sort through so much sludge to get to actual good critique of the game, and it's hard not to go a little crazy, and I really empathize with them for that. Now, this guy's response was really nice, and I think he just wanted some communication, but I wish we could have gotten there via our own personal thinking instead of having to be affirmed from a higher source. But sometimes you need that. Let's be charitable, right? I very much appreciate your response. I understand your position and fully understand if action isn't always possible, but all I wanted for my first post to do was the acknowledgement that this is a real problem. But I don't know. It's just, it's kind of like, of course it's a real problem. And maybe I don't know. Was it specific comments? Everything you said could have been done. It's kind of like, to me, what's an example of this? To me, this is kind of like, maybe you have a local area in your community that's constantly graffitied, right? People know it's there. It's easy to see. This is like constantly growing to your local town hall and being like, hey, the graffiti is still there. And the reality is they're probably working on removing it, and it's just not a high priority, right? Maybe if it's like insane curse words on a public park, that's pretty bad, right? It's all about priority, energy, and like what's happening, right? I feel like people aren't charitable enough to understand that people, to trust that people are doing their jobs. And I understand, because the time is really tough. Let's read on a little bit more. There's a little bit more actually. Or is there a bit more? Let's see. You responded again. The people you've been interfacing with up until now are not allowed to discuss details regarding anti-cheat policy. They escalated it to me because you kept badgering them for details / complaining via report panels because you weren't happy with the response of, we're doing stuff, but we can't explain it to you. Yes, just trust others, man. I know it's hard, but you got to trust others. This was their last response via your report thread about being closed. And they go into this, yeah. None of this was unreasonable or dismissive. Let's read through this to see if it is unreasonable or dismissive. This is the staff rejecting his thing. Hi, I checked your ticket and you indeed report one specific player you have observed for botting and describe the issue with botting in general with some information about it. The answer you received in your support section was appropriate. The technical support is not the correct place for this. Okay, just redirecting him. I'm also reading your report, and the answer given to you and your concerns were addressed. We informed you we would investigate the player you mentioned. Nothing is dismissive so far. They're just affirming. It's the opposite. They're affirming, if anything. We answered everything we could get from your questions and concerns, gave all the information we could give, and explained there are things we cannot disclose about your investigation methods. I fail to see what else you believe we could have been said there, unless you wanted specific information we cannot give. Aside from what Revs already addressed from the support, I'd also like to address the limited ability to give meaningful, okay? The staff working on support is not involved with the development of the game. We cannot do anything with the suggestion of the game there. The suggestion box in the forum is the appropriate place to share your ideas for the people involved with, and I assure you they are seen. I think that, yeah, the suggestion box does a pretty good job of we've seen many suggestions be added over the years. If you want to provide feedback or ideas about the game, you'd want to do that for the developers, not for the support staff. As we said in our report's answer, we are aware of the issues you reported, and we already do take measures against it. Like, it's really just, hey, we appreciate your concern for botting. We're doing everything we can. That's all that's being said. And I feel like you can go into any MMO and find bots, right? The beauty is, in my opinion, in PokeMMO, you don't find that many bots. The number of bots you find in PokeMMO, and it's because the player base is larger than people realize in PokeMMO, okay? I've always said that PokeMMO is probably, my guess is like 1/5, maybe 1/4 the size of RuneScape, if we're being, maybe up to anywhere from 1/5 to 1/2 the size of old school RuneScape, but it's a massive in between, right? For those who don't know, we have other MMOs and other games have way bigger botting problems than PokeMMO, and I haven't explained why in a while. So if you don't know it, if you can just hear me saying that, let me show you why it's not an opinion and actually explain why. The reason why a lot of people don't bot in PokeMMO is because it's not an easy game to gold farm for. Why would you bot in PokeMMO and gold farm for a game that only allows you to open up one client? It makes no sense. Why would you gold farm in PokeMMO? Because most gold farms are doing it for profit, which is why a lot of the bots we see in PokeMMO are actually real players turned into malicious actors or botters. They fucked up and gave into the greed, made a mistake, because most bot farms, most companies that gold farm games don't do PokeMMO because they can only play on one client per device, which severely limits their ability, right? Why would they bot farm in PokeMMO when they can only do one account, one client per device when they could go bot farm RuneScape and load up fucking 40 RuneScape clients on a nice graphics card and bot them all at once. There's no reason, right? Like it's just worse to bot PokeMMO for gold than any other game. The only benefit would hopefully be like less detection and less issues, but the PokeMMO devs seem to be on top of that the best way they can. And it's even still, the way out, in my opinion, wouldn't be worth it. So there's just no reason to gold farm PokeMMO. It's not beneficial to the people trying to make a job out of it. The people that do are often real players who have been turned to the dark side and given into that temptation. So that's why you see a lot of forum posts and Reddit posts saying, hey, I was falsely banned. It's because when a bot gets banned, they just delete the account and move on. When a real player gets banned, even if they're guilty, they try to appeal to the populace, right? It's been a while since I've covered a lot of this stuff. This is stuff that has been covered time and time again, year in, year out in PokeMMO, but with new players, not everybody knows, and you got to constantly repeat this stuff, so hopefully we can spread the education and the reasoning behind things, and feel free to disagree with me on my points, respectfully, and provide counterpoints. Don't just say, yeah. Oh, yeah, I had numbers brought up. For those wondering, in 2024, on Old School RuneScape, they banned over 6.9 million accounts, most of which were for botting. That is 67,000 accounts per week. If you've ever played RuneScape, you can go to a free-to-play world and try to chop a tree. I dare you. It's really, if you've played RuneScape, not to appeal to anecdotes, but if you've played RuneScape, you understand, right? You can bot PokeMMO on a virtual machine. That's why playing PokeMMO on a virtual machine is against the rules. That's easy, man. That's a detection thing. That's a reason why virtual machining Pokemon is not allowed. That's in the. You can just read on the official rules page thing. They just say that. Anyways, okay. Yeah, dude, RuneScape is so many bots in free to play, so many bots everywhere. This is anecdotal, so it's not as fair, right? But in PokeMMO, I just have not seen that. I've seen my fair share of bots. I've seen them payday pickup in a lot of the time. Dragon Spiral Tower. You do see bots in Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, and report them. If you see someone you think is a bot in Pokemon, not you, Matrixio. Sorry about this. What you can do, now one of the best critiques of the Pokemon botting problem is that it's not easy to report someone. There is no right-click report function, right? That's pretty bad. That's a problem. I would love to see that be fixed, right? But you can present that politely and bring that up on the suggestion box on the forums and not go into this whole tangent of, oh, the devs don't care, they aren't doing anything, yada, yada, yada. What you actually have to do is go down here and go to support request and then create a ticket on someone botting, which is a lot more work than right-click report. So I would love to see that added. We'll see what happens. There's definitely things we can do. You can always improve things. There's always things you can do to improve anti-botting measures in a game. I don't mean to be so dismissive that it's problematic either. But we don't need to, there's no use trying to reinvent the wheel every day. There's no use trying to hyperfixate on there's bots in the game at all. Bots are always going to exist. It's more of a, how do we best approach it, as opposed to screaming that the devs aren't doing anything and they don't care and I'm a victim and yada, yada, yada. That's not helpful. So I think that covers everything. If you have any questions, thank you for listening. We try to be a more mature community and address these things very carefully and very seriously. Hopefully you think I did an okay job. If you did, make sure to like the video. If not, feel free to dislike and leave comments, critique, things I could have addressed or touched in a better light. I really appreciate that. Obviously, please do it kindly. I'm just a person trying my best to navigate in this world like we all are. None of us are NPCs. We're just trying to do our best, right? Trying to do our darndest. That's our motto here. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the stream recap, and I appreciate your patience over taking something, like a PokeMMO, video game very seriously, but it is very serious for a lot of people, and I think that's okay. So thanks for watching. Let's jump into some gameplay. No, there's a really interesting discussion of if we had a right-click report thing, how many people would false report, players who weren't botting, and sometimes you get in the zone and you shiny hunt, you run back and forth, you hard scale farmer, and it could make you look like a bot. I agree with you. They won't ban just off of that. One of the best ways, if you've played other MMOs, you know this, one of the best ways to test if someone is a bot account or not is to try to right-click trade them or right-click whisper them and stuff like that. Now, if they don't respond, that doesn't mean they're a bot, but sometimes I've had this happen. If you right-click trade someone while they're botting, it will break their bot and it will break the movement, and they'll start walking around randomly or doing certain motions. That's where you can tell. That's a big telltale sign. So if you see someone who you think is botting, you could whisper them. That if they don't reply, it doesn't mean they're botting. They might just be watching a movie or zoned out. So don't assume all this malice. But it is important to report people you think are botting, but just be careful. Use it. With great power comes great responsibility. Obviously, they're going to check into everything. But I do think that You can break bots. You can break a lot of bots. Not every bot, but you can break a lot of bots in certain ways and see how their movement goes and how it changes. And that's an interesting way to really double check. Yeah, this is really strange. Someone pointed this out to me. There is no species bonus for Mudkip. So what that actually means is there is no reason to use expert lures to hunt for Mudkip if you're trying to win the event. You'd rather just run back and forth and nest ball, most likely, Poochyenas and Wurmples in the grass over at this location at Route 104 in Hoenn. But yeah, there's no reason. It's very interesting. Because there is no species bonus for Mudkip, there's no reason to go for this very rare, difficult catch. Why would you put in the extra effort if you're trying to win the event? If you want to just catch Mudkip, I'll probably catch one just to get it in my Pokedex, honestly. Yeah, I'll still lure for the first one. But other than that, there's not really a reason, which is honestly really interesting. I almost wonder if it was a mistake and they meant to have Mudkip have a species bonus. Yeah, I almost wonder if it's a mistype. Which the staff have hosted so many events recently. I'm surprised more mistakes don't happen. They do a great job and very few mistakes happen. Grass, Hoenn. I'm gonna go ahead. We still have 20 minutes. That's kind of early, actually. I'm starting 20 minutes early, which is kind of crazy, but let's see if we can find ourselves a Mudkip. All right, shout out to Tom Hosnier. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it's true. Shout out to our British boy Tom, and then shout out to Special for actually like responding to this and communicating. Very nice of them. This is in regards to the Mudkip thing. It's not a typo. We don't give bonuses for lured exclusive species, and it could be seen as pay to win. I never knew this. I never realized. Like, to me, lures are so cheap, about 15,000 Pokeyen per hour. I've never. Is this a new thing? I feel like they used to, right? Maybe I just didn't think about it. That's crazy to me. They don't give bonuses for lure. I kind of respect it. Anything to help the new player, I respect. Don't get me wrong. I kind of respect this change. I just didn't know it was in place. So now we have in writing, we don't give bonuses, species bonuses to lure exclusive species, at least from this point onward. That's good to know for future catch events. I actually never thought about this, but someone in chat said, Pat, do you like the idea where you could possibly get an Alpha Haxorus as a reward from finishing full OT decks? If I remember in Unova, after completing Pokedex, there was a shiny Haxorus you could catch. You're not wrong. I just realized that's probably what the Alpha Tyranitar is. I never connected that. Like, the static Alpha Tyranitar spawn in Mount Silver is probably meant to emulate the Haxorus catch that you would get. That's so... I never thought about that. So it kind of does already exist in the game. Now, if you want to Alpha Haxorus, I think that's... I don't know what Haxorus' hidden ability is. That's probably fine. Haxorus... I don't think Haxorus' hidden ability is in the game, correct? It has the hidden ability Unnerve. Is that already in the game? It's not a very relevant hidden ability. Neither is Tyranitar's, to be fair. I can see an Alpha Haxorus static spawn being a reward. Yeah, there's not one in the game. I could see that being a cool way to add. That's fine. I mean, I'm kind of like neutral to it. Like, it seems fine to good. Why not, sort of thing. I love... One of the coolest things the Pokemon devs ever did was add massive in-game rewards for completing the Pokedex. Like, that was so fucking cool. When they... I always say... It's funny... Sorry, excuse me. We talked about this a lot already, but, like, Johto was meant to be a nothing burger. Johto was meant to be a region they added just to add the region and like move on to other content. But instead, even the devs thought that. But instead, they used Johto to add Pokedex completion rewards with Mount Silver, new endgame shiny hunts locations and Pokemon species in general, new XP training spots, totally changing the XP training metagame, totally changing the EV training metagame, totally changing the shiny hunting metagame, the Johto Safari Zone, which totally changed the shiny metagame for a bunch of other different reasons. Like, it's actually crazy how much Johto did. And also, it introduced legendaries. Roaming legendaries, a lot of people forget, were added at the same time Johto was as a secret update that nobody noticed. Secret shinies, I think, were around that time, but not during that exact update. So there's a lot of amazingly positive things from Johto that we never expected. All right, here is our first catch of the event. The event has officially just started. Good luck to everybody participating. Here is our very first catch. I will not be repopping lures to catch Mudkips after this, since it's not worth it. I just wanted to go ahead and catch one for the Pokedex. We need a little Pokedex entry as well. And honestly, this is what you want to see in a new catch, dude. 20 plus in HP, defense, special defense. Every Pokemon pretty much need those stats. You love to see it. That is honestly a really decent / easy great way to start a Mudkip breed. And I think we could actually, now that I've bred that 5x31 Charizard, which was hard as hell, I really am so much more confident in my ability to just breed 20 to 25 plus in three stats, 2 times the correct nature. Like, breeding good comp mons will be so much easier than breeding a 5 times 31 with correct nature. Wait, someone said, wait, Streamathon? Yes, for those who have not heard, there is a Streamathon scheduled this Sunday. I'm sorry I haven't shouted it out more. There is a Streamathon scheduled this Sunday. Every Factor sub adds an hour to that stream, so it is already a 9-hour stream. Now, YouTube memberships will not add time to that stream due to the previous problem that we had with that. Unfortunately, there's like a little bug or an exploit you can do with that. So unfortunately, those won't count. Twitch subs will count. I have the math and what each Twitch sub and gifted sub and stuff like that adds over on the scheduled stream. If you want to see more details, there is a scheduled stream over on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out. So I'm seeing a lot of new players and first-time catch event players. Fucking firstly, welcome. Congratulations. It's an honor to have you. Secondly, a lot of people are asking, is a 144 good? Is a 122? What's a good score in a catch event? For those who are new to catch events, I would say, I'm going to catch this for the Pokedex touch really quick. For those who are new, generally, this is on average in general, so keep these scores with a massive grain of salt. Species bonuses and nature bonuses wildly change this. There's a +10 species bonus, for example, or nature bonus that will massively change the scoring of this event. 33, but it's not for the event. Okay. On average, 4th place is the lowest scoring, right? So on average, I would say 4th place is around a 20. If you get around an 18 to 20 total score, not just IV, but total score, that usually wins the event. Now for 1st through 3rd, it's obviously highest scoring. I would say generally 3rd place is around a 166 to 168. It's been kind of rising recently to like 168. It's been a while since I've seen a 166 win 3rd place. So I would say generally 3rd place is around 168. I would say generally 2nd place is around 170. And then I would say generally 1st place is around 172, right? Total scores. These numbers can change, but that's on average what you're looking for. If you get a 160 plus, I think it's worth submitting. I'm making so many mistakes in this event. And if you get a like 30 or below, it's worth submitting. So just keep that in mind. If you get both of those, you got to make the decision. That's one of the tough parts. So good luck to everybody who's new to events, and welcome. Catch events are super fun and really good for all types of players in PokeMMO. It is the end of an era, fellas. It was an honor to have Mike Tyson create an Iron Man account for our PokeMMO team, but he's got to get back to boxing, I assume. GG's team was good running with you. I like to send the Discord. I'm going to leave teams that not enough time with the new job. Dude, he is prioritizing more important things, new job, and playing his main account, I believe. I'd rather use what little time I can play on my main account, but it was fun. Dude, salutes and shout-outs to Michael Tyson, man. Sir Mike Tyson, it was an honor fighting with you, King. I hope you enjoy the new job. I hope the new job treats you well, and I hope the main account's fun. I respect a ton Iron Men who realize they don't have time for it or want to move on. Can't do everything in life. It makes sense, and free up space for other members. So we now have 2 open spaces in the Iron Man team. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, shout out this guy. This guy must win, right? Z-Vonk, awesome name. He said lowest question mark in global chat. An 11. An 11 is crazy. Let's double check the caught 3 minutes ago. Yep, correct date. Yep, I think this wins 4th place. I don't think you can beat this. This is in it. Congrats to this guy. Mark my words, I think this will win 4th place. This is an insane catch, man. 11 total. Very nice catch, man. Congratulations, Z-Vonk. Yeah, that's a GG for 4th. Dude, congrats to him. Great question. What are the highest and lowest IVs you've seen all time at a catch event? I can say scores, but not. Well, actually, I see what you're saying. You're saying what are the highest and lowest IVs I've seen all time, not in catch events. I mean, I've seen in the wild caught, not bred. I've seen in non-alpha, non-legendary wild caught, and not bred. I've seen a 186 out of 186. I've seen a 6 times 31 wild caught. Only one, I think, in my entire life. And I've seen. I don't know if I've seen a 6 times 0. Now that I think about it, I have seen the 186 out of 186. It was a smear goal from like 2013, 2014. I don't know if I've seen a wild caught 6 times 0. I don't know. But I have seen a 3 total IV wild caught mon. That's for sure. I'm not sure about the 6 times. I'm not sure. Yeah, great question. Now, in terms of catch events, the lowest score, another great breeder catch. The highest score I've ever seen is, didn't someone get over like 186 because like species, and I can't remember, but I feel like I've seen like a 192 or a 193. I feel like I've seen Have we ever seen a 200? It wasn't. It's possible. I don't know. My memory is. I'm going off of memory, right? For memory, I'm sure we've seen a 193. We've probably seen over a 200, but I'm not sure. Lowest score I can remember in a catch event is, did someone get negative? Someone got negative once. I feel like that was a thing, but I don't remember the exact scores. So apologies, my memory is failing me on catch event stuff. I do remember the 186 out of 186 smear goal. Wild, yeah, back in the day. That was a crazy one. Yo, shout out and congrats to this guy. Got himself a shiny Marill during the catch event. Pretty good. Wow, really good stats, actually. Wow, and it's really, really, really good stats. Holy, 20 plus defenses, 30 special defense, 31 attack, adamant. This thing just needs speed. This is a really good. Also, you need edge moves on a Osmarill, so you actually like already need to like breed it for sure to get Aqua, Jet, and Belly Drum. This is a very, very, very good. Yeah, this guy actually is the real winner. Congrats to him, man. That is a very, 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 very good shiny wild catch. Holy shit. I feel like we almost always see at least one shiny during a catch, which is awesome. It's crazy. At least one person gets shiny like every catch event, which is always cool to see. That's a crazy one, dude. Congrats. Those IVs are nuts. And the adamant. That's insane. Yeah, I think this is like super fair. Someone brought up like, hey, I'm a new player. I'm really getting into PvP, and I'm really been a little disappointed at the lack of hidden abilities in PokeMMO. And for those who don't know, hidden abilities are really new to PokeMMO. They only started trickling in hidden abilities for balancing reasons to like see how they change the metagame and stuff. As of like 2023, hidden abilities have only been in the game for like a year and a half, maybe 2 years. They were introduced with alphas, and alpha Pokemon and alpha spawns brought hidden abilities into the game. Now, I do really like this critique, though. I do really wish, someone says, I just wish that new alphas were released more regularly. I super agree. I think the alpha spawn system is very cool, and the cool benefit of it is you can just weave in new alpha spawns like every month. I would love to see at least like 3 new alpha spawns into the pool of rotations like every single month and see new ones. That would be really cool. I think that's a great way to do it. I would love to see that. Unfortunately, we don't have it, but it's a very good way to critique the hidden ability system. I would love to see more of them added a little bit more regularly. Our meta games seem pretty, not stale or stagnant, but like solid right now. Let's add a few things, It is time for MOVIETROUSKI, either your least favorite part of the stream recap or your most favorite, depending on who you asked. And I am here to warn you guys, this might be the most controversial MOVIETROUSKI take yet. And I say that with pain in my voice. I don't say it proudly. I don't want to be controversial. I don't want to share opinions that disagree with the masses. It's usually not fun, but I've also got to stay true to who I am and give my honest opinions and honest feedback. You might notice at the very bottom, we're going to go bottom to top because it's the order I watched them in. I gave the Big Lebowski a half star, a 1 out of 10 rating. And it makes me really sad. I really wanted to like this movie. I watched The Big Lebowski for the first time in my life, and I've lived my entire life being told that this movie's amazing, and that I always thought that I would love it. Oh, it's a dumb comedy about a guy named The Dude. I love, this is totally my fucking vibe, my energy. I'm just gonna read my Big Lebowski review, and you guys can not kill me, please. The Big Lebowski, a half star, watched on the 23rd of June, 2025. And my wife fully agreed with me. She gave it about the same rating, so it's not just me. The biggest disappointment of my 2025 movie arc. I've always heard amazing things about this movie, and I always assumed I would love it. It was just a matter of when do I watch it. A chill comedy about a guy named The Dude, who's a general failure, who cares too much about things like rugs and bowling leagues. Sounds like a perfect movie for me. Instead, I was met with a jumbled mess of a plot with memorable characters, but with absolutely no substance. Depressingly unfunny jokes, but The Big Lebowski almost doesn't even tell any jokes. It's so lost, so confused on what it wants to be. It is nothing. Nothing happens in this movie. It's not funny. It's mildly interesting for minutes at best. It's not dramatic. It's not emotional. This is the biggest disappointment of a movie I've ever seen, and I'm just left feeling sad. Sad that I couldn't enjoy it. Sad that I couldn't get it the way that others do. I'm also pissed that people hype this piece of shit up. Just my opinion, that's a little harsh. Genuinely was a waste of time to watch it. This feels like a failed low-budget stoner comedy that nobody has ever heard of from the 90s, except it's worse. It's a successful, wildly acclaimed cult classic supposed comedy from the late 90s. This movie's only possible redeeming factor is the characters. The acting from everyone is phenomenal. John Goodman's insanity, Jeff Bridges all over the place trying to be the chill dude, but having craziness happen to him. John Turturro's character, Jesus, is amazing. He oozes the most creativity out of the whole movie, but I'm just so fucking pissed at how bad this was and how I can't even give, like, the characters should raise this movie to a 1 out of 5, be a 2 out of 10 score, but I'm just so disappointed from the precedent set. Begrudgingly, angrily, disappointedly, it's a 0.5 for me, dude. That's the whole review. I want to like The Big Lebowski. I'm not here. I'm just really fucking sad. Man wrote a novel. I think it's really important when you watch a movie for 1.5 to 3 hours, you give it the time to properly judge it. I'm sure there are other people out there who actually agree with me. I'm really disappointed. Yeah, Big Lebowski 1 out of 10, Despicable Me 7 out of 10. Actually, it's true though. Like, it's fucked up, but it's true, dude. Next up, I watched Despicable Me 1 for the first time. Gave it a 3.5 out of 5, 7 out of 10. Despicable Me is a really cute, it's kind of like a Meet the Robinsons, like, oh, what a ragtag group of family that comes together. A really cute little movie. Steve Carell's voice acting is great. It's honestly a really good, like, single dad movie, which is hilarious. But yeah, Despicable Me is cute. Ants, I've watched Ants. I just rated it retroactively. I love Ants. I'm of the opinion, if you like Bug's Life and hate on Ants, you just haven't watched Ants in a long time. Ants is fucking good. It's almost the same as the Bug's Life. They actually released like months apart, so there's no way that there was any like copy stuff. It was just like really unfortunate timing. I think Ants is good. Next up, please don't destroy The Treasure of Foggy Mountain, okay? This is that, like, SNL ginger guy. It's like the trio of 3 guys who are doing some of the only, like, funny stuff over there right now. I really like Please Don't Destroy. This movie was so much better than I expected. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'll do the results in a sec. Please don't spam my chat from the middle of something, obviously, please. Thank you so much. This movie was so much funner than it's constant joke, and a lot of them are very good. The first 5 minutes, 7 minutes of this movie is such a good, funny, positive sequence. I loved this movie, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 and a like. And I said at the end of my review, it was my day off. I was like, this review might be inflated due to a bit of whiskey in my system. And later on, I rewatched that movie with my wife. Later, I watched the same movie, watched it for the first time, and then a second time later on the same day, and I gave it an even higher score. I watched it while sober later on that day, and I was like, oh no, this is just amazing. It's even better sober than it was with a few glasses of whiskey. Oh my God, what a good movie. I also rewatched, this is big day for MOVIETROUSKI. I rewatched Brigsby Bear, and I needed to rewatch Brigsby Bear because I needed to confirm whether it was one of my favorite all-time movies, and it is. I officially have a new second favorite movie of all time. My top 3 right now is Whiplash number 1, Brigsby Bear has overtaken the number 2 slot, and then I think Step Brothers number 3. Brigsby Bear is my new number 2 slot. If I could recommend anybody watch a movie that I'm guessing most people haven't seen, it's Brigsby Bear. I really fucking love it. Brigsby Bear is amazing. Big fan of it. Me and my wife watched Materialists in theaters last night. This movie is, in one word, insufferable. It is it's a really dumb, fun movie if you take it that way. And if it was truly a rom-com, it could be a really good rom-com, okay? The problem is they don't lean into the comedy. They take it seriously. This movie is like Shallow Hal, but imagine if Shallow Hal like thought that it was preaching this profound, amazingly intelligent moral, right? Which is obviously, like, I love Shallow Hal because it's very goofy and dumb and funny, but also has like a little underlying reminder of don't judge someone by the book by its cover, right? Materialist is literally, should I marry the rich guy that I don't love or the poor guy that I do? And that's it. It's like, there's no depth, dude. There's no interesting conversation. It is one of the most shallow movies I've ever watched in my entire life. It is shocking that this got finished. It feels like it got like the first 30 minutes is actually quite strong, but damn, dude, when you cover a shallow topic, it is even more important to add something to the conversation. They just shallowly covered a shallow topic, which is really bad. It's really rough. Did not materialist. I would not recommend watching it unless you have a partner. If you have a partner, it can be a cute little fun thing. Me and my wife were like us, you know, like it's a fun little thing with a partner. Do not recommend watching this in theaters. It's a frustrating watch. And then that's it. We already talked about the rewatch of Please Don't Destroy the Foggy Mountain. So there you go. That's it. That's the MOVIETROUSKI takes. Apologies for the Big Lebowski fans. I'm happy people like it. I'd rather people disagree with me than everybody agree with all of my opinions. What a boring world we would live in if that was the case. Feel free to try to understand my position on Big Lebowski, and I hope that I don't come off as I do come off a little harsh with my opinions, and I get that's kind of who I am to some degree. So apologies for that, but at the end of the day, I wish I liked the Big Lebowski the way a lot of people do, and I just sadly, frustratingly, do not. Thanks for watching. This is a great question. I've seen your videos on how to make money in PokeMMO. What's changed recently that's worth noting? Great question. I would say the biggest thing is that the market is a little slow right now. Not even a little. Decently to largely slow for Pokemon. There's not a whole lot of demand. Like, raids are not active. There's not a whole lot of demand for good IV Pokemon aside from your typical gym reruns, trainer reruns, Pokemon that make more money, right? There's not a lot of people splurging for good IV Mons right now because there's no raids, there's no incentives. It's really people are buying Mons to prepare for future raids. They don't have teams, and they're buying Mons to prepare for future events, right? But there's not that rush to go for stuff right now. So good IV Mons are a little lower in value right now, as well as, you know, Dittos and other things. What's it called? Alphas bringing in too many good IVs in the game. So I would avoid catching for profits, not as good. Breeding for profits, not as good. Anything involving Pokemon right now is not as good as it can be. It's still not bad. Nothing's bad. It's just, you know, not as good. I recommend fossil farming. Ditto farming is still good, and certain like other Pokemon for farming. Just doing the daily Jimmy run, trainer rerun, pure yen methods are king right now. Certain metagames, it's worth skipping your Jimmy run to just go do better methods. But right now, the pure yen from Jimmy runs, trainer runs, Elite Four runs if you do those, Hello refights or Red refights if you do those. Things like that is what's king right now in the game for sure in terms of money making. If you just do your gym run every day and make like 300k profit a day, you'll probably never need to ever make Pokeyen ever again. Like if you just do a Jimmy run every day, right? Which is a lot, you know, 300,000 Pokeyen times 1 month. If you do your Jimmy run every single day for a month, you'll have 9 mil, which is like most Pokeyen. If you do your Jimmy run, let's do 1 week, right? Jimmy run every day for 1 week, you'll have 2 mil, 2.1, right? Like, if you just do your gym run every day, you're good. If you do your gym run plus a trainer run and make like 500k a day, well, then you're really cooking. This is a great question. I asked before, have there ever been any like crazy glitches in Pokemon, like dupes in the game? I don't remember any dupes happening. I don't remember anything. I don't remember that. One of the craziest bugs was when, I don't know if they were usable, but I remember at one point they pushed an update where if you logged into the game on mobile, which is a lot of players, mobile players would see the like developer command like box. So there was like this old, let me see if I can Google it and find it. PokeMMO developer console box. You could log in on mobile and see this like, you could like right click and ban people essentially. Like, I don't know if it was actually usable, if it was just a visual bug. PokeMMO bug which showed staff commands. Let's see if I can find this. I don't know if I can find. It's hard to find. I don't see it anywhere. I showed it off in a video a while ago. PokeMMO staff command box. But it was really, that was one of the crazier bugs. I can't find it. That was one of the crazier bugs I've ever seen. Was players seeing, I don't know if they could actually physically use it, but at least seeing what staff could see behind the scenes, which was super fucking interesting. Oh my god, did the believers actually win? Dude, this is the first time that I make over 250k, and I think I did. Believers caught the rarest W, 688. I think it was minus 434. I'll have to double check the VOD. That is over 250k within one Jimmy run, dude. I'm gonna fact check it. I think the believers won. That is so hype. That's the first time it took me 10 Jimmy runs to realize I should just skip the riskier gyms to finally let the believers win. But that's so hype, dude. After fact checking, yes, 434k was the starting amount. The believers finally got it, dude. Even though the doubters, so if you don't know, when I do my gym run on stream, we do a gamba on Twitch chat and people can vote whether or not I will make over 250k or not. And I've not been able to do it yet. And the doubters, who are people who didn't think I would do it, they strategically rage baited me during the run to rant about a PokeMMO topic, and then later admitted they rage baited me just to distract me from the run to give them a higher chance of winning, and they still lost. This is a proud day for the believers, boys. I appreciate people who actually think that I could lock in enough to make a humble 250k in a gym run, but I'm happy to get it, man. You know what? That's progress. We're getting a little. It's cool to see like the average of our gym run Pokeyen moneymaker method like go up and up as we practice the run more. Even with my hours, you know, we still gotta hone in the new run. So that is Jimmy run number 10 completed. Let's over to Island 1 and do a little bit of amulet coin farming before we do anything else, because otherwise I'll forget that I won't have amulet coins for future runs. Yo, this is really funny. He's been just said, look at the top 4 OU leaderboard. Poor spelling. Bro is 0.01, 0.02, I guess, away from top 3. That's fucked up. That is pretty the odds of that are crazy. Yeah, 0.01 that's crazy, man. It's really cool to see how competitive. Look at this person. 905 rating. That's like some of the highest I've seen, man. That's like really, really high. 80% win rate over 1,000 games. PvP in PokeMMO is like really competitive, man. People take this stuff really seriously. It's really cool to see how serious people take and how many games people put in, man. Over in randoms PvP, 931 rating. That's crazy, man. I love showing off. I love randoms PvP. I think randoms PvP is largely skill based in a lot of ways. I love showing off people who have 70% win rates in randoms, like consistently. It's a very, very skill based format, even though there is inherently a fair bit of RNG, you know. This guy with 57% win rate, but he's ranked 26. That's so crazy. 835. That's wild, actually. This shit is so cool to me. There's a lot of grind, a lot of games got to be played. You're trolling, Brewski. Brewski came here like 2 seconds ago. He just said, I found the burb. Maybe I'm right. Weren't you here for like 2 seconds? Dude, you're a fucking god. Congratulations, man. I mean, you love to see it. Maybe you've hunted here a bunch throughout the month or something like that, dude. Congrats, man. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations, dude. Good luck on your IVs. Alrighty, but I think that's gonna be the perfect place to go ahead and call it, fellas. We've been live for almost 6 hours. Really healthy stream today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like if you did, dislike if not. Subscribe on YouTube for daily Pokemon videos. Follow me on Twitch for streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. There will be a streamathon this Sunday. Make sure to be there or be square. Discord's down below if you want to join a really cool community and just meet some people who love the game and see whenever I'm live and stuff like that. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal, and Venmo donations do go a very long way, and I appreciate everybody who does that. It really allows me to be here and focus on trying to make the best Pokemon content possible. I'm going to keep working on the Iron Man, keep going for Articuno. Thank you guys for watching. I'm excited for episode 6 of the Iron Man to also release this Sunday. I'll see you guys there, and have a great day. Peace of Reno, fellas. Good luck on all your Pokemon grinds. Yo, Patrouski here, and I wanted to thank you personally for watching the video until the very end. I really, really appreciate that. And if your name is on this list, thank you to the moon and back, because you allow me to even make these videos by supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.